Don't know if you guys can hear the wind outside, but it is absolutely horrendous. But anyway, hello everybody. So, Premier League signings part 3. I have waited a little while for this one. I think you guys could probably give that, you know, it has been a while since last we've done these ones. Well, I don't know, it hasn't been ages, but I won't do part 3. I felt a little bit, you know, eager to potentially do it, and yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so we are kicking it off with the first one, which is Anthony Elanga, who would join Nottingham Forest, I believe, for a total of around about 5 million. I could be completely wrong with that, but he's a good young player, and I think it's a good signing for Nottingham Forest. I do think if they even potentially get relegated Nottingham Forest, I don't think he would leave either. I think he's a solid player to have around the club. Not the biggest of fee compared to, you know, other youngsters that have been sold before in the past. So I think Anthony Elanga to Nottingham Forest is actually a really good move for them, and a smart move as well. Okay, next one. Honestly, I couldn't tell you a single thing about this guy. And to be honest with you, I've literally just got his name. I think it's on like Colashella, you know, who's like a South African winger from Espanyol, who played a couple of times for them, you know, in La Liga, but also then getting relegated. I would class it as a good signing, you know. He's a good young player with bags of potential. And, yeah, honestly, I couldn't tell you a lot about him, but I think they only paid like a couple of mil for him. And I think it's worth the risk. Next one is Jimenez. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know, because I don't really want to diss Jimenez, because I know he's been through a lot in his career as a footballer, and he is a good striker, but he hasn't been the same since, you know, we all know the injury. It's a difficult player to rank, man. It really is. It's a difficult player to rank. I think I'm going to put him in there, because obviously if Mitrovic does go to Saudi, which, oh my god, that's gone a little bit quiet now, Mitrovic, Saudi Arabia, but if he does go, Jimenez got big boots to fill, but right now, I wouldn't say it's a bad signing, so I'll put him in there. Right, next one is Igor from Brighton, the Fiorentina centre-back. I think this is a class signing. Didn't pay much for him. I believe they paid, like, what was it, 12, 14 million. So in that, for the Brazilian centre-back, who played a lot of games for Fiorentina last season. Mainly a centre-back, usually played within a back 3. Wouldn't suit a back 4, but Brighton do usually play like a back 3 or a back 5. So I feel like he's perfect for that. I think a really good sign there for Brighton. Young player as well, I believe he's around about 24, 23. But yeah, great that. Right, next one is Moussa Diaby from Villa. I think I've got to put him in class, honestly. The only thing that I could actually worry is the massive price tags. They've done this with Leon Bailey and it didn't work out. But Moussa Diaby, I feel like he's better in quality than Bailey. And I feel like he's got a lot of potential as well, being quite young, Diaby. Obviously joined them from Leverkusen, I believe, for about £50 million, or maybe 55, something around about that region. Obviously Emery's having a great pull at Villa. You know, Pau Torres, Diaby, Tillemans, you know, some absolutely great signings there. So, yeah, I think it's a class signing. Next one is Danjuma. Honestly, another fantastic signing. Loan deal, great winger, was brilliant for Villarreal. Didn't necessarily do great with Spurs. I believe he did actually score in his debut though for Spurs. Alright, if I'm not wrong. But great record at Villarreal. I believe he's got like a goal in every 2 game record. Great in the UCL. Yeah, what a player Danjuma is. I highly rate him. I think a great move for Everton. And I'd be interested to see how Everton would use him, because they've been gasping out for a striker in the past few years. And Danjuma had kind of played that role for Villarreal, even though when he was at Tottenham, he kind of was forced to play a little bit on the out wide, and at Bournemouth as well. So, yeah, I think it's a good signing. Next one is Harvey Barnes. I think Harvey Barnes is another good signing. I think he's probably one of the most underrated Actually, no, I've got to put him in the class as well, you know, if I'm putting Igor and Danjuma up there. He's a class signing, he really is. I think the only reason why he's a little behind Danjuma is the fee. Obviously, this was just a loan, so obviously it didn't really cost much, a low risk and potentially a high reward for a quality player. And Harvey Barnes is a great player, you know, I believe he's the second most expensive signing, expensive sale, in Championship history, along with James Maddison. So yeah, great player Harvey Barnes. I really hope he does well at Newcastle, because I'd like to see him play a lot more for England, because I do think the ability is there. I think at Leicester, you know, especially last season, he did do well for Leicester, but in a bad team. I feel like in a good team, he could potentially do a lot better. So yeah, Harvey Barnes, class player, and a class signing. Okay, Brune Larson. Honestly, this might be the first chance that goes in the risk category, because he was really bigged up, you know, Broom Larson, you know, as a youngster at Dortmund, moved to Hoffenheim, didn't do bad Hoffenheim, he didn't do awful, but I do think it's a little bit of a risk transfer because I don't think he's lived up to the potential that he was rumoured to. But you could say that about a lot of players, but I think he is a good player. This is not me saying he's a bad signing. This ain't me saying, you know, this is worse than bad. This is just a risk. I guess every single signing goes element of risk, but I think Broom Larson, I think he's definitely in the risk category. Can I switch these two round? I think I can. Oh, no, I can. Yes, right, there we go. That makes things look a little bit more better. Right, actually, I'll even put it up there because I think it is a risk signing. Okay, next one is, how do I pronounce this guy's name? Like, Okuchokwa? Something like that. What? Right, okay, Okuchokwa from Chelsea, joined them from Stade Rennais. Yes, Stade Rennais. Big transfer fee. I believe he's set to go out on a loan, though, to Strasbourg, who's been taken over, I believe, by the Chelsea owner. So, yeah, I really hope he does do well because he's a really good young midfielder, bags the potential. Honestly, a really good signing for me. A really good signing. This guy, honestly, will be, I reckon, one of the best Chelsea midfielders ever. Now, quote me on that, okay? He is going to be incredible. He is a really talented footballer. I've heard really good things. We had a Stade Rennais fan on the channel once who talked really highly about this guy. When I done a Ligue 1 Marseille career on the channel and absolutely loved him. Obviously, I haven't watched that many Ligue 1 games, but he's very well-rounded midfielder, and yeah, I think it's a really good signing. Next one is Radu. Honestly, meh. It's just coming as a number 2, really. He's not going to replace Neto. Coming as number 2 because Mark Traves has gone out on loan to Stoke. Meh. Might get some game time, cups, I'm not too sure. Ryan Giles, this guy deserves the Premier League, man. He is such a talented player in Cardiff, Middlesbrough and Wolves. But I swear he played for another championship team. But yeah, he's a talented player. One of the best, creative fullbacks in the championship last thing, or the best. I think he notched up like 17, 18 assists. Got a couple of goals to his name as well. Borough were absolutely clutching at straws to try and get him in. But Luton, obviously, Premier League attraction. I think it's a really good signing for Luton, considering, you know, they're a club on a low budget at the moment. That's spending a lot of money to try and increase their stadium capacity and also get it to Premier League regulations. So, yeah, I think a really good signing. Next we're going to have is another Fulham signing is Calvin Bassey. Another interesting one. I really hope he does do well. I'm going to put him in the class signing as well, because I do think it's a class signing, Calvin Bassey. Brilliant for Rangers. Obviously playing the Europa League final, you know, against Frankfurt. Great, absolutely fantastic centre-back. Can play left-back as well. Played for Ajax. I don't think he done that well for Ajax, but Ajax obviously developed him, you know, try and get the best with him, and now he's playing in the Premier League with Fulham. I believe it was a total of like 13, 14 million for him. So yeah, a really good deal, I think, for Calvin Bassey, and I really hope he does end up doing well at Fulham. Yeah, he's a good player. Actually, I'm going to put him behind Igor, actually. Right. Okay, next one is Austin Trusty. Bias, yes, but it is a good signing, I personally think. Great centre-back, had a great season at Birmingham. Pacey, left-footed. I think like 6'3", 6'2", really good centre-back. The only risk is that he's not Premier League standard yet. Obviously, he hasn't had a go in the Premier League yet. He's had no experience in the Premier League. Because again, quite a lot of these players here haven't, like Radu, Broom Larson, and my thing just turned off. Love that. You know, yep. Good show. Obviously, Bassey's one, Diaby, you know. But I think he's a player which has got a lot of potential. You know, Austin Trusty, Pacey. And I think he will potentially be a massive fan favourite at Sheffield United. Next one is Kaminsky. I really rate Kaminsky as a keeper. But then again, I do think it's a risk of a signing. But I do rate him. He did have a massive injury at Blackburn. A massive injury at Blackburn. You know, he's a great player though. Great goalkeeper, great shot stopper. In my opinion, probably one of the best goalkeepers in the championship. Great player, great player. Next one is Axel Disasi. Honestly, a class signing, an absolutely phenomenal signing. Around about £30 million for the French centre-back from Monaco. Great signing. Really highly rated. They had to give him a raise to try and get him Chelsea. Well done there, ready? Because obviously, I believe Manchester United were heavily interested in him. Well, actually, they tried to get him, I believe, at the start of the window, but I'm not sure what happened with that deal. I think it just didn't happen. And then, obviously, Chelsea have decided to pick him up. I think Monaco got a little bit robbed as well, only £30 million. Yeah, really good deal. Next one we're going to go for is Ashley Phillips. Honestly, yeah, it's a good signing. You know, I'm not going to diss him. You know, he's a young centre-back. He obviously won't be the first team for Spurs. Maybe potentially a cup game here and there or under 23s action. But yeah, £2 million for one of the best young English centre-backs going. Yeah, it's out. Next one is Hojund from Atalanta. And honestly, I think this goes in the risk category. I think the main reason why is the amount of money they spent on him. 72 million, I believe, plus add-ons. But that's not me saying he's going to be bad. That's not me saying he's bad. That's not me saying he's not even a good signing. It is a risk, you know. And I feel like hopefully some United fans actually agree with me on this one. I'm not saying these signings are better than Hojund. But I do think it's a risk. The reason why I think a lot of these players are because they were cheap. You know, like up here, like, so it's a bit of one of them signs which, like, you didn't need to, you know, get a lot of, you didn't need to pay a lot of money. You know, because Trusty, I believe, was like 5 million, Alanga 5 million, Kaminsky like 3 million, Phillips 2 million. You know, like, cheap deals. Hojund, obviously, never played in the Premier League before. Scored 10 goals in 34 games for Atalanta for 72 million. However, did do brilliant for Denmark. 6 games, 6 goals. So, yeah, he's a great young forward, and I think he will do bits at United. However, I think it is a risk at the moment, so I'll be interested how it works out. Next one is Josko Gvardiol. Honestly, I think this is the best one transfer so far. What an amazing signing, honestly. What an amazing signing. 77 million from Leipzig. Really quick centre-back. I don't know whether Pep has any plans to play him somewhere else. Obviously, we've seen John Stones move further up the pitch. But yeah, I think it's a class signing. And final one, Roberto Sanchez. I think, honestly, another class signing, I personally think. Purely because 20 million for a really good goalkeeper. But anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed this video on the channel. If you guys have, make sure to like, subscribe. Have a great day, everybody. See you all soon. Take care, everybody.